Hi guys, this is Hero, and today I'm going to be discussing the transit of Mars through Scorpio between the beginning of December 2021 to the middle of January 2022. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started. Why is this so important? Well, what could jump at you immediately is that Mars is in Scorpio and Scorpio's Mars' own sign. That's true, but one thing I want to point out to you is that if you look anywhere pretty much and try to find out why is Scorpio one of Mars' signs, okay? When it comes to any other sign in the zodiac, it's pretty clear why it belongs to a certain planet, okay? It's pretty clear why Libra and Taurus belong to Venus, or why, Sagittarius and Pisces belong to Jupiter, or why Capricorn and Aquarius belong to Saturn, or why any of the other signs belong to any planet, okay? Because usually, and I've noticed, it's because there's some materialistic aspect associated with those signs and those planets, okay? For example, the most obvious is obviously Venus, okay? Venus governs luxuries and relationships, which is, shown from Taurus and Libra, okay? Jupiter governs, temples, religious ventures, stuff like that. That's governed through Sagittarius, okay? You guys get the point of what I'm trying to say. But when it comes to Mars, it's not very clear of no one I've really found has given a really good answer on why Mars owns Scorpion, okay? And the reason is there's not as much of a materialistic aspect associated with the fact that Mars governs Scorpio, okay? And this is one of the things that Mars is not talked about a lot. Mars is one of the most intuitive planet, if not the most intuitive planet out of all of them, okay? Including Jupiter. Why do I say that? Mars and Jupiter are both the only planets in this system that own both a water and a fire sign, okay? So that automatically makes them very spiritual in itself, which most people don't think of Mars that way, okay? They just think of Mars and they think of it as a malefic, blah, blah, blah. And from a material standpoint, you could make an argument there. But Mars is the most intuitive planet. Why? Because the eighth house itself governs intuition, and it throws an eighth aspect based off of wherever it's sitting, okay? The eighth house, from a material standpoint, it could be not so great. But from a spiritual standpoint, it's one of the best houses, the eighth house, okay? It governs all intuition, okay? For example, and I'm going to actually give you a reason why, or give you kind of an analogy of why the eighth house is not a bad house, okay? If you're a Sagittarius rising, your Jupiter gets exalted in Cancer, which sits in the eighth house, okay? So, and Jupiter is a very spiritual planet as well, okay? So the eighth house and the 12th house, especially those two, they are not bad houses, okay? They are just from a materialistic standpoint, they're not exactly going to make things the easiest, but from a spiritual standpoint, they're going to take you way up, okay? Now, back to the video. So Mars and Scorpio. So I just kind of described how Mars is a very intuitive planet, okay? So now it's in its own sign of intuition, okay? Which makes it very powerful in itself. Now, most people don't know how to use this, okay? Because most people, when they look at transits, they look at just the materialistic aspects of things, okay? But as you guys know, in my videos, I mainly focus on the spiritual aspects of all these transits, okay? So one, it's in Scorpio. Now two, okay, Mars, yeah, it gets in Scorpio, every time it orbits the sun, okay? Maybe every year and a half, 2 years, it'll go into Scorpio, and that's great. But this time, it's with Ketu, okay? Also, and Ketu is also a very, it has those same intuitive energies as Mars, okay? In fact, Ketu is actually a little bit more intuitive. When I said Mars is intuitive, I meant all the physical planets, okay? But, so Mars is with Ketu inside of Scorpio, okay? So that means this could be a great, and this doesn't happen that long, okay? That often, okay? I would say, if I had to guess, this maybe happens once, like every, not that often, maybe once every 15, 20 years, if I had to guess, okay? So this is a very, very, very good time to raise your intuition. If you want to actually raise your like pure internal intuition, like just within yourself, this is probably the best time to do it right now. Okay. So when Mars and Ketu is both in, and the best time is actually at the beginning. Why? Because Sun and Mercury are both in Scorpio also at the end. So those energies kind of get affected by this Mars transit as well. And at the beginning of the Mars transit into Scorpio, its fourth aspect thrown onto Jupiter is the strongest. Okay, so basically the strongest, the best time to kind of channel the energies of this transit is actually at the very beginning. Okay, which is kind of why I made this video. I try to make it about a week early. Okay, so back to the video. So Mars, it's with Ketu. Okay, so that intuition, not only is it strong just because it's in Scorpio, but because it's with Ketu, it's going to a whole nother level. Okay, now what do we do here? So let me actually start with what not to do here. Okay, so when Mars is with Ketu in Scorpio, you're gonna have a lot of channeled energy. Okay, now if you don't know what to do with it, you can outlet it to very, very, very wrong directions. Okay, so this could be like getting angry. This is the most stereotypical, but we don't want to do things that are going to hamper our intuition. Okay, like what do I mean by this? I mean mainly alcohol, social media, TV shows, or substances. Alcohol/substances, or basically any toxic screen time, okay, or any toxic energies that you basically need to cut off. Okay, that's why the eighth house in itself represents kind of just sudden changes. Okay, because sudden changes help you kind of snap out of your illusion and kind of wake up. But yeah, so when it comes to gaining intuition, these three things mainly, and there's a lot more, but I'm just giving you an example. Things like alcohol, things like a lot of screen time, a lot of garbage screen time, and things like a lot of toxic energy. You're going to have a lot of intuition flowing through you, and those will basically misguide your intuition, and kind of all that energy, instead of it going positively to increase your spiritual intuition and help raise your consciousness and stuff like that, all that energy will just feed towards your ego, and that energy's still there, so it's gonna outlet it through another way, like anger, jealousy, comparison, lust, stuff like this. Okay, so and when it comes to Mars, though, the thing is, the reason why it's labeled as such a harsh malefic is because people don't channel it right. Okay, people in general, they like to live in their illusion, and they like to not be aware and just be ignorant. Okay, so when they do feel any sort of awareness, they want to either distract themselves, or they want to like just kind of get rid of it as much as possible. Okay, rather than just sitting with that intuition and just seeing what it's trying to tell you. Okay, so I think I talked a little bit enough about what not to do. Okay, you might feel a lot of energy flowing through you, but this is all very strong, powerful, intuitive energy that, if used properly, can really help you build that spiritual connection with higher consciousness. Okay, and if you've had like any kind of like spiritual goals, you could say, like true, like especially like tantric spiritual goals, like those kind of things, like gaining astrology intuition, or like some kind of tarot cards or something like that, this would be a good time to kind of work on that. Okay, but now back to the ignorant illusion stuff. So, but you need to have good habits in basically to, because when this energy comes up, it could be a lot to deal with. Okay, and if you're not used to acting properly, your ego kind of take advantage of that. Your ego could take advantage of all that energy and use it badly. okay? Because Ketu, like I said, this is a lot of energy because Ketu's with the 2, okay? So Ketu's headless, okay? So if not used properly, this could, like I said, bleed out in like verbal fights, or like you being, also Scorpio represents kind of like hidden secrets, right? So you kind of you basically doing things you're not supposed to do, okay? But like I said, if you use this transit properly, you'll be able to really get to the core of who you are, okay? But the core of who you are, it's topped with a lot of garbage because of all our conditioning and stuff like that, okay? So this transit's going to help you get through that garbage, but only you can get through that garbage, okay? So that's one thing to keep in mind. One last thing I want to touch on before this video ends is that Mars, it does throw a 4th aspect on Jupiter, which is in Aquarius right now, right? So what does this mean? It could lead you to be a little bit frustrated when it comes to other people, okay? So I would especially since Scorpio has a lot of 8th house energies, which is like sudden changes and stuff like this. And the 4th aspect is on Aquarius, and Aquarius kind of deals with your karma related to other people. So I would kind of also monitor your expectations related to others. Okay, so if not aware, that a lot of that energy, that Mars and that combined with that Ketu, that high energy to kind of gain intuition, it could get easily distracted if it's focused too much on fulfilling expectations related to other people, okay? So I'd encourage you to monitor those expectations and let go of those expectations so you can continue working on raising that, that you can continue using that intuition to raise that conscious connection within yourself, rather than using that energy to, indulge in, materialistic nonsense, okay? So that's it for this video. Hope you guys learned something. And this definitely changed your perspective on Mars, which I think would be very helpful for a lot of people. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. And until next time, talk to you guys later. Thank you.